Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskritya Tatham Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayanti Nashtiprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavatasya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhagavati Nashtikya. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 11, the expansions of Lord Nityananda, text 31. Nityananda Priya Bhritya Pandita Dhananjaya Atyanta Virakta Sada Krishna Premavan. The 16th dear servant of Nityananda Prabhu was Dhananjaya Pandit. He was very much renounced and always merged in love of Krishna. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, Pandit Dhananjaya was a resident of the village in Katwa named Sheetal. He was one of the 12 Gopals. His former name, according to the Gaur Ganadesh Deepika, was Vasudam. Sheetal Gram is situated near the Mangala Kota police station and Kachar post office in the district of Burdwan. On the narrow railway from Burdwan to Katwa is a railway station about 9 miles from Katwa, known as Kachar. One has to go about a mile northeast of the station to reach Sheetal. The temple was a thatched house with walls made of dirt. Some time ago, the zamindars of Bajaravan Kabashi, the Maliks, constructed a big house for the purpose of a temple. But for the last 65 years, the temple has been broken down and abandoned. The foundation of the old temple is still visible. There's a Tulsi pillar near the temple, and every year during the month of Kartik, the Disciplines Day of Dhananjaya is observed. It is said that for some time, Pandit Dhananjaya was in Sankirtan party under the direction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he went to Vrindavan. Before going to Vrindavan, he lived for some time in a village named Shanchada Panchada, which is 6 miles south of the Memari railway station. Sometimes this village is also known as the place of Dhananjaya Pata. After some time, he left the responsibility for worship with the disciple and went back to Vrindavan. After returning from Vrindavan to Sheetal Gram, he established a deity of Gaurshundar in the temple. The descendants of Pandit Dhananjaya still live in Sheetal Gram and look after the temple worship. Mahesh Pandit Brajer Udar Gopal Dhakka Vadya Nritya Kare Premi Mato Yavar. Mahesh Pandit, the 7th of the 12 Gopals, was very liberal. In great love of Krishna, he danced to the beating of a kettle drum like a madman. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, the village of Mahesh Pandit, which is known as Palpada, is situated in the district of Nadia within a forest about 1 mile south of Chakadar railway station. The Ganges flows nearby. It is said that formerly Mahesh Pandit lived on the eastern side of Jirat in the village known as Masipura or Yashipura. And when Masipura merged into the riverbed of the Ganges, the deities there were brought to Palapara, which is situated in the midst of various villages such as Beledanga, Berigrama, Sukhasagar, Chandure, and Manasakota. There are about 14 villages, and the entire neighborhood is known as Panchanagar Pragana. It is mentioned that Mahesh Pandit joined the festival performed by Sri Nityananda Prabhu at Panihati. Narottam Das Thakur also joined in the festival, and Mahesh Pandit saw him on that occasion. In the temple of Mahesh Pandit, there are deities of Gaur Nityananda, Sri Gopinath, Sri Madan Mohan, and Radha Govinda, as well as Shalikam Shila. Navadvipe Purushottam Pandita Mahashaya Nityananda Namaya Madan Mahunmadhaya. Purushottam Pandit, a resident of Navadvip, was the 8th Gopal. He would become almost mad as soon as he heard the holy name of Nityananda Prabhu. It is said in Chaitanya Bhagavat that Purushottam Pandit was born in Navadvip and was a great devotee of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. As one of the 12 Gopals, his formal name was Stoka Krishna. Balaraman Das Krishna, Prema Rasa Swadi, Nityananda Name Hai Parama Unmadi. Balram Das always fully tasted the nectar of love of Krishna. Upon hearing the name of Nityananda Prabhu, he would become greatly maddened. Mahabhagavad Yadunath Kavi Chandra, Yahara Hridaya Nitya Kare Nityananda. Yadunath Kavi Chandra was a great devotee. Lord Nityananda Prabhu always danced in his heart. In the Chaitanya Bhagavad Madhya Khanda, chapter 1, it is said that a gentleman named as Ratnagarbha Acharya was a friend of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's father. They had been residents of the same village. Ratnagarbha Acharya had 3 sons, Krishnananda, Jiva, and Yadunath Kavichandra. So that Yadunath Kavichandra is being mentioned here. Radhe Yar Janma Krishna Das Dvijavara Shri Nityanandir Teho Parama Kinkar. The 21st devotee of Shri Nityananda in Bengal was Krishnadas Brahman, who was a first-class servant of the Lord. In this verse, the word Radhe refers to Radhadesh, the part of Bengal where the Ganges does not flow. So Radhadesh. Actually, that is where Nityananda Prabhu was born, or he appeared. Kal Krishna Das Bada Vaishnava Pradhan Nityananda Chandra Venu Nahi Janeyan. The 22nd devotee of Lord Nityananda Prabhu was Kala Krishna Das, who was the 9th cowherd boy. He was a first-class Vaishnava and did not know anything beyond Nityananda Prabhu. In the Gaur Ganadesh Deepika, it is said that Kala Krishna Das, who was also known as Kaliya Krishna Das, was formerly a Gopa, cowherd boy of the name Lavanga. He was one of the 12 cowherd boys. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhasha, Kaliya Krishna Das had his headquarters in a village named Akai Hata, which is situated in the district of Burdwan, within the jurisdiction of the post office and police station of Katwa. It is situated on the road to Navadvip. To reach Akai Hata, one has to go from the Bandel Junction station to the Katwa railway station and then go about 2 miles. Or one has to get off at the Danihata station and then from there go 1 mile. The village of Akai Hata is very small. In the month of Chaitra, on the day of Varuni, there is a festival commemorating the discipline's day of Kala Krishna Das. So I believe there are some past tense of Kala Krishna Das. We'll read later. Shri Sadashiv Kaviraj Bada Mahashaya Shri Purushottam Das Tahara Tanaya. The 23rd and 24th prominent devotees of Nityananda Prabhu were Sadashiv Kaviraj and his son Purushottam Das, who was the 10th Gopal. Ajanma Nimagna Nityanandera Charane Nityantar Bhalya Lila Kare Krishna San. From birth, Purushottam Das was merged in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and he always engaged in childish play with Lord Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhasha, Sadashiv Kaviraj and Nagar Purushottam, who were father and son, are described in the Chaitanya Bhagavat as Mahabhagyavan, greatly fortunate. They belong to the Vaidya class of physicians. Text 156 of Gaur Ganadesh Deepika says that Chandravali, a most beloved gopi of Krishna, later took birth as Sadashiv Kaviraj. So Chandravali is cousin of Radharani, but in a different group of gopis. She is in a competitive group of gopis with Radharani. So Krishna he always tries to please both Radharani and Chandravali. And the mood of both are different. So mood of Chandravali is it is a rightist mood, which is I am Krishna's. Just like Rukmini also is the mood of I am Krishna's. And Radharani's mood is Krishna is mine. See, there's certain difference. Although they both love Krishna, Krishna loves both of them, they serve both of them serve Krishna. But Radharani is considered the greatest. In text 194 and 200, it is said that Kansari Sen, the father of Sadashiv Kaviraj, was formerly the gopi named Ratnavali in Krishna's pastimes. All the family members of Sadashiv Kaviraj were great devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Purushottam Das Thakur sometimes lived at Sukhasagar near the Chakadaha and Simurali railway stations. All the deities installed with Purushottam Thakur were formerly situated in Bele Danga Gram, but when the temple was destroyed, the deities were brought to Sukhasagar. When that temple merged into the bed of the Ganges, the deities were brought with the Janva Mata's deity to Sahiba Danga, Bedigram. Since that place also has been destroyed, all the deities are now situated in the village named Chandude Gram, which is situated 1 mile up from Palpada, as referred to above. So even to have all these information, this is also amazing. I don't know how Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur got all this information. Taraputra Mahashaya Shri Kanu Thakur Yara Dehe Rahe Krishna Prema Amritapur. Shri Kanu Thakur, a very respectable gentleman, was the son of Purushottam Das Thakur. He was such a great devotee that Lord Krishna always lived in his body. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, to go to the headquarters of Kanu Thakur, one has to proceed by boat from the Jhikara Gacha Ghat station to the river known as Kapotaksha. Otherwise, if one goes about 2 or 2.5 miles from the Jhikara Gacha Ghat station, he can see Bodhakana, the headquarters of Kanu Thakur. The son of Sadashiv was Purushottam Thakur and his son was Kanu Thakur. The descendants of Kanu Thakur know Purushottam Thakur as Nagar Purushottam. He was a cowherd boy named Dama during Krishna Lila. It is said that just after the birth of Kanu Thakur, his mother Janva died. Of course, this Janva is different than Ma Janva. When he was about 12 days old, Shri Nityananda Prabhu took him to his home at Khaddaha. It is ascertained that Kanu Thakur was born sometime in the Bengali year 942 or AD in 1535. It is said that he took birth on the Rath Yatra day. Because he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, from the very beginning of his life, Shri Nityananda Prabhu gave him the name Shishu Krishna Das. When he was 5 years old, he went to Vrindavan with Janva Mata, and the Goswamis, upon seeing the ecstatic symptoms of Kanu Thakur, gave him the name Kanai Thakur. In the family of Kanu Thakur, there is a Radha Krishna deity known as Pranavallabh. It is said that his family worshipped this deity long before the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When there was a Maharashtrian invasion of Bengal, the family of Kanu Thakur was scattered, and after the invasion, one Hari Krishna Goswami of that family came back to their original home, Bodha Khana, and re-established the Pranavallabh deity. The descendants of the family still engage in the service of Pranavallabh. Kanu Thakur was present during the Khetri Utsav, when Janva Devi and Veerbhadra Gosai were also present. So this Khetri Utsav we mentioned yesterday also and today also. This was after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, they had both unmanifested the pastimes. So Ma Janva, she thought of, because all the Vaishnavas, they were scattered, they were not together. She thought of collecting everybody together. So she worked hard. And then she organized this Khetri Gram festival, in which Lord Chaitanya's appearance day was going to be celebrated, Gaur Purnima. And for that, she invited Vaishnavas from all over Bengal and Odisha. And they all came, and Narottam Das Thakur and Veerbhadra Gosai, and so many exalted devotees were there. And the kirtan went on, and I think 5 or 6 sets of deities were installed, deities of Radha Krishna of current time. And then the deities moved to different temples. And the kirtan in that festival was so great and so loud that Panch Tattva themselves appeared in that kirtan. All 5 of them came. And this was first time it was organized, and everybody was so excited to be part of that festival. One of Kanu Thakur's family members, Madhvacharya, married the daughter of Sri Nityanand Prabhu, who was named Ganga Devi. Both Purushottam Thakur and Kanu Thakur had many disciples from Brahmin families. Most of the disciplic descendants of Kanu Thakur now reside in the village named Gada Beta by the river Shilavati in the Midnapur district. Mahabhagavad Shrestha Datta Udharan Sarva Bhave Seve Nityanandera Charan. Udharan Datta Thakur, the 11th among the 12 cowherd boys, was an exalted devotee of Lord Nityanand Prabhu. He worshipped the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda in all respects. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, the Gaur Ganadesh Deepika states that Udharan Datta Thakur was formerly the cowherd boy of Vrindavan named Subahu. Udharan Datta Thakur, previously known as Shri Udharan Datt, was a resident of Saptagram, which is situated on the bank of Saraswati River near the Trisha Bigha railway station in the district of Hooghly. At the time of Udharan Thakur, Saptagram was a very big town, encompassing many other places such as Vasudevpur, Banchabediya, Krishnapur, Nityanandpur, Shivapur, Shankhanagar, and Saptagram. Calcutta was developed under British rule by the influential mercantile community, and especially by the Suvarna Vanik community, who came down from Saptagram to establish their businesses and homes all over Calcutta. They were known as Saptagrami Mercantile Community of Calcutta, and most of them belonged to Malik and Sil families. More than half of Calcutta belonged to this community, as did Srila Udharan Thakur. Now Prabhupada says, our paternal family also came from this district and belonged to the same community. The Maliks of Calcutta are divided into 2 families, namely the Sil family and Day family. All the Maliks of the Day family originally belonged to the same family and Gotra. We also formerly belong to the branch of the Day family, whose members, intimately connected with the Muslim rulers, received the title Malik. In the Chaitanya Bhagavatam Khanda, chapter 5, it is said that Udharan Datta was an extremely elevated and liberal Vaishnava. He was born with the right to worship Nityanand Prabhu. It's also stated that Nityanand Prabhu, after staying for some time in Kardha, came to Saptagram and stayed in the house of Udharan Datta. The Suvarna Vanik community to which Udharan Datta belonged was actually a Vaishnava community. Its members were bankers and gold merchants. Suvarna means gold and Vanik means merchant. Long ago, there was a misunderstanding between Ballal Sen and Suvarna Vanik community because of the great banker Gauri Sen. This Prabhupada mentioned earlier also. Ballal Sen was taking loans from Gauri Sena and spending money extravagantly. And therefore, Gauri Sena stopped supplying money. Ballal Sen took revenge by instigating a social conspiracy to make the Suvarna Vanik outcast. And since then, they have been ostracized from higher castes, namely the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. But by the grace of Sri Nityanand Prabhu, the Suvarna Vanika community was again elevated. It is said in the Chaitanya Bhagavad, Yateka Vanika Kula Uddharana Haite, Pavitra Haila Dvida Nahika Ihate. There's no doubt that all the community members of the Suvarna Vanik society were again purified by Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So purified means they were again put back in the same situation, same status. See, in living in a society where there's so much of divisions, the status matters. Otherwise, who cares? In Saptagram, there is still a temple with the six-armed deity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that was personally worshipped by Srila Uddharan Datta Thakur. On the right side of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a deity of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and on the left side is Gadadhar Prabhu. There are also Radha Govinda Murti and the Shaligram Shila, and below the throne is a picture of Sri Uddharan Datta Thakur. In front of the temple, there is now a big hall, and in front of the hall is a Madhvi Lata plant. The temple is in a very shady, cool, and nicely situated location. When we returned from America in 1967, the executive committee members of this temple invited us to visit it, and thus we had the opportunity to visit this temple with some American students. So Prabhupada had gone back in 1967 because he had a paralysis stroke attack here in New York. And he was getting the treatment, he was getting the massage treatment done by his disciple. But then somebody suggested to go to India because it's warm over there. It's very cold in America. So that's why he wasn't getting okay. So he decided to go, although he had started the society in 1966 only. And in 67, he had to go back to revive his health. And he wasn't sure if he's going to come back. And all the, whatever few disciples he had, they were crying. Swamiji, don't let us be like this because we don't know anything. And even at that time, Prabhupada said, I have given you everything, just follow it, that's all. So he went back to India, and Kirtanan Maharaj and I think Achyutanand were there. And they served Prabhupada over there in India. And he revived, his health got better, and then he came back. I believe he came back later part of 67. Indeed. And when in India, he went to, like he says, Navadvip and Vrindavan also. But yeah, when we get a chance to read Prabhupada Lila Amrita, we'll see how hard he worked. And that age means at 70 years he started this. It is difficult, almost impossible for what he did. So Prabhupada further says, formerly in our childhood, we visited this temple with our parents because all the members of the Suvarna Vanika community enthusiastically take interest in this temple of Uddharan Datta Thakur. So this temple is in Saptagram, and in Calcutta also he used to visit a Radha Govind temple. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, in the Bengali year 1283 or AD 1876, a Babaji of the name Nitai Das arranged for a donation of 12 bighas of land, about 4 acres, for the temple where Uddharan Datta Thakur worshipped. The management of the temple later deteriorated, but then in 1306 or AD 1899, through the cooperation of the famous Balram Malik of Hooghly, who was a sub-judge, and many rich Suvarna Vanik community members, the management of the temple improved greatly. Not more than 50 years ago, one of the family members of Uddharan Datta Thakur, named Jag Mohan Datta, established a wooden murti statue of Uddharan Datta Thakur in the temple. But that murti is no longer at present. A picture of Uddharan Datta Thakur is worshipped. It is understood, however, that the wooden murti of Uddharan Datta was taken away by Sri Madan Mohan Datta and is now being worshipped with a Shaligram Shila by Srinath Datta. Udharan Datta Thakur was the manager of the estate of a big zamindar in Naihati, about 1.5 miles north of Katwa. The relics of this royal family are still visible near the Dainahata station. Since Udharan Datta Thakur was the manager of the estate, it was also known as Udharanapura. Udharan Datta Thakur installed Nitai Go deities that were later brought to the house of the zamindar, which was known as Vana Yori Bada. Srila Udharan Datta Thakur remained a householder throughout his life. His father's name was Shrikar Dutt, his mother's name was Bhadravati, and his son's name was Srinivas Datta. So I guess I can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments? Okay, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.